joining us for the Maiden recording of the Voice podcast. And joining me today, I have Mr. Adam Chowdhury, who is going to be taking us through this very lovely download for you.
Hello.
Mr. Sam Sini, our extraordinaire person of extraordinariness.
I'll take that description.
Great
I think
intro.
that's brilliant.
And to my right, we have a Mr. Sean Bowden.
That's probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me. How come they get beautiful intros and I get Sean Bowden?
I said on my right, I was endearing you by using an intro Nicholas Parsons uses to Paul Merton on Just a Minute.
Oh, you know exactly what to say to me, Duncan.
I know. And I believe
He's
later
a
on...
silver-tongued devil, this one.
And I believe later on we'll be having Dave Watkins joining you for sport, Adam.
Yeah, so after this you'll be hearing actually Mat Sargent first. We'll probably get him in. Mat Sargent with me, Sai and Vito, who are also here with us. We'll be talking to him about societies and stuff like that, so make sure you stay up for that. And also after that we'll have the sports from Sam and Dave Watkins. That was quite interesting, so hopefully that'll be a really good lesson for you guys as well.
Okay, so, right, back at uni. None of us here are actually staying in uni accommodation, are we, right now?
Nope.
No. We're all private rentals.
Definitely.
Yeah,
but
I never actually stayed in uni accommodation. What were you... Well, I know... Adam and Sean,
yeah.
especially you, and
Yeah,
Si, yeah. What was your experience of the accommodation like last year?
Okay, well, I was in university manager accommodation. That was a house. Well, firstly, which is not what I expected, because I thought I'd be in halls like most other people, but apparently I wasn't meant to be in halls. So from that side of things, I was really annoyed about that. And obviously this year there have been continuing accommodation problems. I mean, I get that it's hard for the university to manage every single person's expectations, but you know, from something like I thought I'd be in halls, but oh no, I'm in a house. You know, that's quite a big deal. So I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
I was in halls. I was in St John's. I was in Avon. I believe that's the place where most of the problems this year are about, isn't it? Wasn't it about something to do with the fact that Avon hasn't been
refurbished? But yeah, another. I'm not sure which building, but one of them has been refurbished. But Avon is still paying the same price.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because the thing with Avon was always, even last year, though, Avon was the more scruffier one than Ledbury. Ledbury was a bit nicer, a bit cleaner. So I don't know how much worse it's got now, but.
I think I think this year the main problem is that the refurbished standard rooms are a lot nicer than the standard plus rooms, which obviously by the name is a lot more expensive. But I think in one particular, I don't want to say Ledbury. I don't know, there are some new halls this year which I don't even know about, but off by heart anyway. But that's been a big concern. There have been, I think, washing machines as well. People living in houses are getting that for free with their rent, whereas people on campus who are paying a lot more because their rooms are supposedly nicer are paying for washing machines every time they have to use it. It's things like £1.30 for a wash, £2 for a dry, something stupid. So
it was ridiculous how much they get out of you with the washing and the drying.
It sounds ridiculous. So I mean, if you do have any problems or concerns, let us know at The Voice. We're writing a news story, big one about that now. Do get in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll hopefully get that sorted.
But I mean, obviously that's not the end all and be all of it, because I know some students, even if they're commuting or they're living here, they need a parking space for their car. And I know, Sam, you commute. What's it like being in a car every day back and forth?
Well, Worcester didn't evolve around cars, so the congestion gets pretty bad in the mornings. But I mean, the most striking thing for me is how City Campus and St John's Campus are so wholly different in their experiences. I was talking with a colleague of mine about this just an hour ago.
How fancy! You've got a colleague.
I've got a colleague.
Colleague.
Good word, that, isn't it? Colleague. But yeah, she was saying to me that over here, you know, you've got your cafe, like your eating area, canteen. That's what I was looking for. And you've got like areas that you can just like sit and mingle, whereas over at City Campus we have to share a cafe, and I mean a small cafe, with the general public. Not only that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the general public, but not only that, but I mean, when I come over here to do such things as The Voice and other societies that I'm part of, there's never a parking problem over at St John's Campus. However, over at City Campus, if you've got lectures over there, there's about 20 car parking spaces at Jenny Lind, which is to serve everybody over there.
Yeah, the staff as well.
And the staff. And then they've just bought them like a portion of the moors, which I'd estimate, although I haven't gone around counting, is an extra 40 spots. But that's still, like, you know, it's probably not anywhere near as proportional as the number of parking spaces over here in comparison to students.
And especially as you're paying for the privilege of the parking permit, and you can't even guarantee that you get a parking space.
I know, £130 for me, and then if you live on campus or within a mile of campus, it's £300. I don't mind that, because that's serving a purpose. But
it's one of those you'd almost expect. I'm not saying you pull in, you got a parking space with your name on a plaque in front of it. But
I'd
you
like
should.
that.
I'll see what I can do.
Pull some strings, Dunk.
But you should still have that reasonable expectation that there will be an available parking space there for you. I know, especially if you're paying money for the privilege of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Sort that out, please. Another thing that needs sorting out, if I don't mind me saying, timetabling. I know we've had quite a lot of problems about that. For me particularly, because I've had to change course because of timetabling issues, because this whole student-led timetabling thing has been absurd. I don't know about you guys. I think we've had quite a lot of complaints about it from first years. People saying that they were still using provisional timetables even when they got to uni. So your opinion on that, if you... Bit closer, was that Duncan? Yeah, a bit closer. Because you gave me the single. I was like, do I go nearer? Do I go closer? No, I'll get closer. But so if you didn't hear what I was saying, university timetabling is very rubbish and poor. Your views. I don't know if anyone else is affected.
Some of my friends, they've had issues. I don't know anyone who's done a joint honours that hasn't had clashing. I know the second year English language module, English in the 21st century, has suffered very heavily from this, because they've got joints with journalism, they've got joints with creative writing, they've got joints with screenwriting. Those people who had a joint, that module clashed with the mandatory of their other joint, so they then had to drop it because they're going, well, I can't do the optional because it clashes with the mandatory, and you can't get rid of the mandatory. I know you had the same problem with history, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I had to drop. Well, first of all, I had to drop history from my whole course, which sucks to say the least. Because the optional history module clashed with, well, both ones I can do clashed with both of my mandatory journalism ones. And the history module I had to drop is probably the only reason, well, not the only reason, but one of the big reasons I came to Worcester. It was modern Japan, and it looked so interesting. The lecturers as well. So that was really. If you just heard that, the sound probably got a lot better. So, that's really disappointing. So
that does sound really interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting as well because I did history and journalism in my first year. I changed to single honours by choice, but.
We can hear you, Duncan.
We can hear you.
I can still hear you, Duncan.
Just trying to be suave.
Because I think I'm too loud. Write to us if I'm too loud or too quiet.
Okay, there you are a bit too loud, but you want to be about probably that far away, but you need to keep facing, because you're kind of looking away from it, so you're talking to the side.
We're sorting out.
This is our first podcast.
We're sorting out etiquette, people. Don't bear with us.
Sean, you were saying.
I mean, Sam's never done this before, and he gets it.
I'm just like a duck to water.
But yeah,
So
Sean, you
Sean.
were saying about history.
No, but what I was going to say is when you're looking on the website, and when I remember when I was looking on the website for it. I thought something was happening. When you go on the website and when you have a look at it, they give you a list of things that you can join them with and what they recommend you join with. And history and journalism is like the first ones for them to clash in the second year of anyway, or in the first year. I don't know how it's going for them as well, but
that's stupid.
It's not good.
Because I know last year they were praising, we got this student-led timetabling, it'll be so much better, it would be so much better for all of you, it will really help you. And it seems to have caused nothing but issues. I mean nothing but issues. I mean, myself, I've been fine, but that's just because I'm awesome like that. I don't suffer these kind of problems of the lower echelons of the university.
He means lucky.
He means echelons. We pronounce our words very well-ly on the
phone. I tell you what we need to sort out this timetabling stuff. A few killer clowns.
A few killer clowns.
Here we go.
A few killer clowns.
Oh dear.
I haven't seen any personally, and thank God I haven't. But I mean, what is the point? I don't know if Vita and Sai have very strong opinions on this. They are also
why
here
would
with
they
us.
have opinions on this?
Well, I don't know.
Do you go around as a clown at night? No, he's shaking his head.
We're getting shaking heads.
That's it.
Oh, here we go.
Absolutely not. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's stupid because I know this trend started in America apparently, and
The bloody Yanks.
yeah. Oh,
Sorry for our
Duncan's
American
views
listeners.
Duncan's views are not expressed of the voice as well. No, but yeah, they started in America. I think scaring school kids, and which just sounds just demented. And now they're coming over here and
Stealing our jobs as clowns.
again, Duncan's views are not expressed those of the voice. But
They're making a mockery of clowning.
I've always hated clowns, to be fair. So this isn't helping my clown phobia.
Yeah, I was going to say you sound like a bit of a clown phobe there.
Yeah, I think I am. Yeah.
Well, here's one. If you were walking through Worcester at whatever time at night and one of these clowns jumped out at you, what would you do? Also, I'm asking you, but I'm telling you, the listener, don't try this at home. Just because this is what we are doing, we don't recommend you do this if they say something that might hurt.
I'll try it for you. Then we'll report on that.
Okay, yeah. If Sam's alive for the next podcast,
Then you're good. You're fine.
yeah. I mean, because the way I'm looking at it, right, most of them, they're just there to give you a scare, right?
Mm.
And I'm also thinking, well, I'm not going to run. I'll just stand there, let him come up. Because end of the day, if you run, you're more exhausted. If he's actually one of those that wants to attack you when you run,
Then
you're more exhausted. You're not going to be able to defend yourself as well.
Well, I mean, if they've got a weapon, I'm gonna run. If they've got a knife or something, then
Yeah, but if you run and they've got a knife, they could be fitter than you. You could end up running yourself out of breath, and then they've still got a knife, and they're still closing in on
So
you.
the alternative is just standing there.
Please don't stab me, Mr. Clown.
What are you gonna do?
Now, I'm not saying that if you see a knife, I'm not saying that if you see a knife wielding clown, you don't run. Probably best to run. Perhaps try and phone the police if you get a chance. But I would personally stand my ground.
Well, did you see that video of the guy that was going around Facebook where he literally went, right, there's this guy standing over there trying to look menacing. I got my 6-pack of Budweiser here, bottles. And he grabbed one, went towards the clown, brandishing this beer bottle, and the clown scarpered. Absolutely scarpered.
Good.
I reckon I know what Adam would do.
Keep a bottle on you,
Go
people.
on.
No, he'd dress up as Batman.
No.
I just saw that on Twitter before we start recording.
Copyright.
A guy,
No.
a guy in Cumbria who's dressing up as Batman and fighting clowns at night, which is just apparently Sam told me there was a video which I need to see.
Yep.
So that's just. I mean, I get that the clown story is a horrible thing, but to get a story like that, it's just brilliant.
The Dark Knight has come to life. So I'm quite happy. I loved that film.
Yeah.
It is an awesome. I mean, to be honest, we could probably go and talk about that film for an hour or two, I imagine. It's such
Tune in to our entertainment podcast next week. Shameless plugs.
You'll never guess what we're talking about.
Definitely.
I think Mr. Putin's come up with a plan to get rid of these killer clowns. I think his plan involves putting some nuclear weapons on the border with Poland.
Yeah. Moves from Putin. Who would have thought that after his invasion of the Ukraine?
No, that was a peaceful political takeover
Of the oil fields, yeah.
Yeah, as voted for by the people of the Crimean Peninsula.
Oh, is this like that? You know, like Lebensraum, and you know, he's uniting the Russian people.
Yeah, maybe.
For those who don't know, do you want to give us a brief thing of what's happening exactly?
No.
Well, basically,
Our editor Duncan, go on, Sam.
Basically, Putin has ordered his nuclear warheads, as Duncan said, to be moved to the border with Poland. And he's also been like getting the state television to broadcast these what to do in the event of a nuclear attack videos, and like getting them to do these like routines and training to get to the nearest bunker. And then today, worryingly so, he's told the Russian officials, embassies and ambassadors abroad, to get all of their families back to the motherland.
Wow.
So it's worrying times. It's worrying times.
Who would have thought that Boris Johnson telling people to protest outside the Russian embassy would cause such a commotion in the Kremlin?
I think we're going to have to blame Bojo on this one.
Well, is he still Bojo? Because the way he wanted it, I think he's more Bogo.
Bogo.
There we go.
Tune into our politics session next week.
No, but it's one of those. I think, okay, Putin's putting some nukes there, and people say, "Oh, it's just going to escalate the situation. It's just going to make things worse because NATO's then going to respond." I think, end of the day, NATO doesn't want a war. They're going to send some troops. They're going to have a little training exercise in Poland. That's going to be about it because A, they don't have enough conventional forces without the US backing to pose even a defence against Russia. At the end of the day, NATO is just what the Eastern Bloc used to be, but instead of it being the Eastern Bloc, it's now NATO's buffer zone for Russia, rather than Russians' buffer zone for us. That's essentially what it's become.
It's just a scary concept, though, isn't it? That tensions are rising to a point that we haven't seen since the Cold War, really. But
then you think, even at the height of the Cold War, the Cuban Missile Crisis, we came close, but then that resulted in even better communication. So they hoped we would never get there again.
Yeah. Now, to steal your bit. That all depends on who gets elected as US president, really, doesn't it?
Here we go. And now we move on to our US presidential election of this segment of the show where the man himself, Donald Trump, will be talked about in depth, hopefully next week, but here we'll cover him a bit. I think Vito's raised his hand.
What? I've heard some really, really funny quotes about him, that ones that he actually said recently. If you want to fill it up, I'll just look up for it real quick.
Was this the one about the People magazine, New York Times sort of thing?
No, these are very controversial, and
for those wondering what my point was, he said about the New York Times and People magazine, I believe it was New York Times, that he said that they're horrible, horrible liars. That he definitely said that, horrible people. I think regarding his sort of...
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the new one.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. If Ivanka, that's his daughter, weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Right, that's one. We got 2. It's freezing and snowing in New York. We need global warming. that is the president of the United States.
Does Donald Trump believe that global warming's a myth?
He does.
Oh, yeah, that's a typical Republican thing, isn't it?
How could it? There are so many.
It's probably down to the communists, to be honest.
Yeah. Dem commies.
Do you think Trump will actually win? What were you guys thinking?
Well,
I
up
think
until a couple of months ago, no one thought Brexit would happen.
True.
So I think the safety we had in just thinking it would never happen is kind of gone. We've lost that net because we've realised, and perhaps this is now even going to help him, the fact in America, people who would have perhaps thought of voting him and thought, well, it's even if I vote for him, it's never going to happen, and now probably going to think, well, actually, no, if I vote for him, this could happen. Because when he started out, no one thought he had a chance. But I mean, the way he's gone about it, rather than on focusing to look to get the Republican nomination for himself, he almost systematically removed each contender by taking them on, rather than just going for the gold.
Exactly.
Ted Cruz.
Exactly. I was talking to you about this, and
no, you weren't. This is totally original.
No, it isn't, Duncan. But yeah, as I was saying to Duncan, he's a lot cleverer than a lot of people make him out to be, because in those nomination races that the Republicans and the Democrats had, if you think about Hillary, she only had 2 people to defeat, and she had a lot of issues with Bernie Sanders, whereas Donald Trump had 17 candidates, or he was one of 17, I forget. But he systematically took out people like Jeb Bush first, because of his surname, and then he started labeling people and using his marketing powers that he's got from his time in business, to label them as like little Marco Rubio or Lion Ted Cruz, and those stuck. Those stuck with people.
It's like big cricket Hillary.
Yeah, it's what he's doing with Hillary, but it's not working as well.
Did anyone see the highlights of the second debate?
Yeah,
on Sunday?
I watched. Well, not the second one actually. I know they didn't shake hands.
No, I didn't shake, yeah.
No, I think they shook. They didn't shake on the first one. They did shake at the end of the second.
At the end, at the beginning of the second one, they didn't shake hands, and at the end, they actually did.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. I thought. Yeah, go on.
Watching that debate, what was interesting about that debate is, bar that first 10 minutes where he had to discuss those, the clip that came out about him saying some things about women, which
sexual assault,
absolutely deplorable.
Yeah, no, absolutely deplorable. But apart from that first 10-15 minutes where he had to address that, I think Trump was much stronger than Hillary in the second debate. I thought his points were more clearer. I thought Hillary looked on the defensive for some reason.
Yeah.
They were clearly shaken when because Trump, if you don't know, Trump brung in the people who had alleged that Bill Clinton had either sexually assaulted them or done things to them. I think they brought in the woman who didn't Hillary Clinton defend a rapist?
She's accused of covering up these claims that Bill assaulted and sexually assaulted these women, and as you say, Trump got them in the audience.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's that meme going around of Bill Clinton looking quite startled.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's just.
But there's a bit of a double standard there, isn't there? Because this man actually, Bill Clinton, there's proof there with these people that something might have gone on. And obviously JFK, a lot of people like JFK, but there's his famous quote.
As did Marilyn Monroe.
Exactly. He was a president of the United States and he was having an affair with Marilyn Monroe, and so was his brother. But more importantly, he came out with the quote that if he doesn't have a girl every 3 days, he gets a major, major headache. And again, if that's something that I would expect Donald Trump to say, not JFK. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also one of those, I think with the debates, he's very much, I imagine he's going to be a domestic policy president rather than an international one, because you think, obviously, even after Ronald Reagan, Bush, he knew about, obviously, the foreign policy side, coming from the CIA and all that kind of background. But working domestically, that's where he suffered. And I'm imagining Trump, while he might be good at trade, the big Ponzi, let's spectacle, we can get this done with this country, this trade deal. I think he's very much, I'm imagining with what some of his rhetoric, he's going to care more about the domestic side. He's going to cut taxes like that. He's going to try and probably perhaps go to some kind of model where tax returns are abolished because not a tax return.
I mean, even with Trump's business experience, there've been so many court cases over the past few months about him losing so much money in business. I think in 2008,
but the president might be the commander-in-chief of America. Congress controls the budget. And now it's set up in that way because of the president was formerly just the foreign affairs and the military of America. Congress was all the domestic matters. And because of that, the originality, the Congress still controls the budget. As much as he wants to do, Congress still has to approve it. And the good thing about this American system is you can have someone as president, but then you got the backup of the Congress to stop them. Like Obama came in, hail Obama, he's going to be this great president. Oh no, he didn't do anything because Congress wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, they blocked him.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, is anyone supporting Trump here? Just to.
No.
I don't have American citizenship, so I can't vote there. So.
Great way out there. That's a great way out. Sean, Sam.
If I was an American citizen, I wouldn't vote for either. I don't agree with Hillary on basically anything, and I don't. The thing with Trump is, even when he says things I do agree with, like low tax, anything like that, I just do not believe the man to do anything that he has put forward, And the other thing is, it is a fair point, is that man has the temper of a child.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, for me, I'd take a similar stance. If I were an American, I would be crying myself to sleep at night over this choice because they're both such flawed candidates to be put forward for the presidency. Like Hillary has got so many skeletons in her closet that you have to kind of look past because you've got Trump on the opposing side.
Definitely.
But in any other kind of race or in any previous race, they both would be off the ticket. I don't even think they'd get a whiff of the ticket. It's just a sad state of affairs that the US can't put out a better politician or better politicians for the post.
But speaking of better politicians, or perhaps he's a worse politician, Tony Blair said he might have a future in British politics, but we'll save that for our politics special podcast.
Definitely.
Because there's so much to talk about with politics. Let's give you something separate. Now, I believe Adam is going to be taking us over here with Vito and Sai, and we're going to be talking to Mat Sargent about so much good stuff that's going on with the societies within the university. So we'll see you on the other side, and over to you, Adam.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to our monthly news section, and now we're joined by me, Adam Chowdhury,
Sai Hussain,
and Vito here.
So yeah, we'll be talking to Mat Sargent, who will hopefully introduce himself and his title.
Okay, I'm Matt, and I am I'm a representative on Student Council for societies, and I'm just going to talk a bit about what societies are doing really around the uni at the moment.
Great, yeah. So I believe you're the chairman of the Arts and Culture Society, so I want to know sort of a bit about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started up really, it was a result of last year because I started up the Community Arts Network within the university, and it was about bringing the arts together because before that they're kind of separate, and that was just kind of a forum for bringing different art people within the university together. So we had art lecturers and theatre lecturers just coming to that. And then there was, as a result of that, to make it more kind of student focused, we kind of set up a society to be more social and things like that. So
cool. Yeah, that sounds great. What kind of events you got this year? I'm guessing lots of combinations between theatre and art and sort of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're planning on every 2 weeks we're going to have a social to different places. And we've just had one of our first socials this Tuesday just gone, which was to the Mars Bar.
Oh, wow,
so,
cool.
Yeah. So that was, I've actually not been to the Mars Bar before, so that was actually really, really good. I've been to like local theatres and things like that.
Yeah.
That was my first time to the Mars Bar, so that was really good.
Cool.
So yeah, every 2 weeks we're going to plan on going to different venues, so different, like to the Swan Theatre and then to local exhibitions and stuff like that really. So it's just like a social society for like-minded artists and art students to meet up.
Sounds great. How can people get involved exactly? Who should they email or talk to?
So yeah, that's me. They can email me, which is sarm, SARM 1_13 at uni.walk.ac.uk.
If you didn't quite get that, that will be on the website. Don't you worry, you have to memorise that. But yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Yes, it is you, Sai. First podcast, guys. Very sorry, but Sai. No, go on.
So, I've also heard that you're part of the Spotlight Theatre Group.
Yes.
Can you briefly explain what that is and what's involved in it?
Okay, yeah, I'm on committee for Spotlight as well. So basically, we're a theatre society. So every year we have 2 events, 2 main productions. And in our first semester, we put on a variety show. And last year it was based around heroes and villains because every year we have a theme. And
you sang there, I believe. Did you?
Yeah, I sang last year. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. I sang. What did I sing? I can't even remember. It was
managing all the societies, singing. What else are you doing?
I was singing Stars from Les Miserables. I think.
Yes,
It
was a good performance, guys. I saw it. It was.
You're too kind.
You heard it here first.
I've got a fan here.
Yeah, so this year the theme's going to be based around myths and legends, which is kind of an unusual one because you don't get many performances necessarily based around that. So that's going to be interesting.
Cool.
But we've got a very new, keen membership base, and they're very interested in doing stuff, so they can do whatever they like, whether it be theatre, music, singing, dancing, whatever really, and they're all really excited to really get on with it.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
I saw a lot of new societies coming in this year, and one of them caught my eye. It's a Uni Boob Team Society. Sorry about that giggle there. I pretty much I can assume that's something really meaningful, not something.
Yeah. So basically, it's different from usual societies because it's actually based. It's more they're. You don't have to pay to join it because most societies you have to pay to join. But for volunteering societies such as Uni Boob Team, they're basically set up to support breast cancer, and that's what their mission is really, to bring the awareness of breast cancer to the general public and students alike. So yeah, that's what they do.
What about this Deeper Life Campus Fellowship Society?
That's a new society as well, although I don't think they've been that active this year yet. I know that they're another society around religion and supporting ethnic minorities or religious minorities within the university. So I think it's a support group for people with particular beliefs. So really meets their needs really. And
beliefs. Yeah, we got 2 more new societies. We got Lithuanian Society, which is quite interesting because we never had a national society before, I believe. So
Don't think so. No.
no,
Well,
right? Because it's like there's loads of Lithuanian coming this year. So hello to all the Lithuanian people listening, if there is any. But yeah, you probably don't have any comments on that. But
Well, I think it's there to support people of minorities within the university, and I think it's great that it's bringing as a society they're bringing people together who wouldn't necessarily meet otherwise. So I think that's a really good hub for people to really.
great. Are there any other new societies that we should know about?
There
or-
is a vegan society as well, and
Oh, wow.
veggies, so don't miss out on them as well. We
Yeah.
have to include them as well.
Sounds great, yeah. Vegan side. I've got quite a few friends who've gone vegan in the past few years. Past few
Join
years.
in, guys.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we've heard obviously New Year, new events all go around. It's all going on right now. In this month of Great October. Just wanted to know a bit more about Loco really, because I see them all across town. They're really popular from the university and outside the university. So, just, do you know a lot about that? I'm guessing you do.
Yeah. Being in the we actually work quite well together because with the Arts and Culture Club and Spotlight, we work really on mutual goals really.
Oh, right, cool.
So I actually know that Loco have their pantomime this year, which is going to be an adaptation of Into the Woods, that film that came out relatively recently. And it's going to be called Into the Forest. I think that's for copyright reasons more than anything. Yeah. And that's going to be on the 10th and 11th of December. So just before we break up for Christmas. So that should be really
the
good.
forest people. So that's like when FIFA players and like their names
On
are
Pez,
spelled
something like that. Yeah, it's got a different.
Polanski instead of Podolski.
I'm sure it'll be much more high quality than those names, but
I'm
sounds
sure,
great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've also heard about a gaming society recently announcing they're having a Halloween gaming session with virtual reality and horror games. Can you give us more details on that?
So yes, that's something I've heard about recently as well. So they're doing that at Halloween. So that would be the end of October, end of this month. It's going to be, since it's Halloween, it's going to be based around horror and things like that. So I think you'll need to have a certain sensitivity to certain stuff. But if you're an avid gamer, then I think that would be something that really would pique your interest. And I hear they're doing like virtual reality as well, so that should be different because obviously that's a really new that's really new in gaming. So
and anyone can come to these events as well.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. But they're still talking about when the exact date is, but it'll be around Halloween time.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Are we all big fans of Halloween here?
Yeah.
I'm personally not, but I'm guessing you lot are. Sai just giving me the look of death right there.
You work at a Halloween shop. You must love Halloween.
I do work at a Halloween shop, and they are lovely people over there. Come down to Halloween HQ if you do get the time. But no, I've always
Shameful plug.
Shameful plug. But yeah.
Is there also a open mic night for a music side?
Yeah,
Because I've been
yeah.
related to that one. I love music, so we are doing that as well. So
Yeah, that's coming up in November, so that's later. I believe that's on the 17th of November at 9:00, and basically the Music Society did their first music open mic night. They did it in Freshers Week, or Welcome Week as they called it, and that went really well. They had loads of really talented performers at that, and I really, really enjoyed that personally. And they're going to do it again, as I say, on the 17th of November. But they're asking preferably for people, if anyone is interested
With
that's
skills.
listening, then they're asking for people to send any information about what they'd like to do before it. So should I give an email that people...
Yeah, definitely.
go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So they're giving me this email, which is WORC, WORC, uni, UNI, music, MUS, well, you know how to spell music.
They better do.
Music Society at gmail.com. So that's Walk Uni Music Society at gmail.com.
That will also be on the website, hopefully. We'll
Cool.
get that from that
Awesome.
later on.
Make it easy.
Yeah, definitely. Are there any other events we should know about we should definitely be getting down to?
Well, actually, a relative. I was speaking about new societies as well before, weren't we? And one of the newest societies that's set up only in the last few months is the Education Enhancement Society, which is basically about support. There's a lot of teaching students at the university, and it's basically about supporting them and supporting their growth throughout the university. And they've got loads of events coming up. So if there are any teachers or anyone actually who are interested in education as a field, then they've got loads of events on the Students' Union website at the moment. So they've got lots going on, and I think they're actually one of the biggest societies in the Students' Union at the moment as well.
Wow.
So they've really
Keep
done
an eye
well
on
for
that.
themselves. Yeah. And also, there's also the Film Society are also having a film festival on the 31st of October. So that's again towards the end, around Halloween time.
Yeah. It's going to be screened.
Yeah. And that's going to be in the uni, and basically they're just going to be showing films on that. So it's going to be like a cinema sort of thing, because then they'll be showing films in subsequent film. Yeah.
Halloween films.
Do you know what films maybe?
Not sure. I'll have to check that.
Yeah. Sure.
My Halloween
But,
film
yeah,
history
it'll be-
isn't the greatest. I think stuff like Friday the 13th. I haven't seen many horror films actually. To be
Really?
fair,
Not really.
every favourite horror films, everyone.
Not a massive
Woman in
fan.
Black. I have to say I've not seen that many, but
Yeah.
I'd have to say One in Black.
Is that the one with Daniel?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. in
Conjuring,
cinema.
which is quite scary.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard about that.
Insidious.
Insidious.
Yeah.
I've heard. I think that's got like
Exorcist.
2 films now, 3.
Yeah, I think it's 2 or 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Cool. All right. So, would that be it, or is that sort of just for now? Should people just keep checking the website, the SU website, for more details? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty much
Great.
everything that's going on with that at the moment. Yeah. So that's
There
really
is
good.
a lot to do here at the University of Worcester. So if you're sitting bored on the sofa every Saturday night or something, get on down to the SU. Make sure you sign up to loads of different societies events because there's so much going on.
You don't even have to pay for some of them, so that's
Yeah, there are
Exactly.
voluntary ones as well. So just pay or non-pay, get yourself involved. You're here for 3 years at least. So make sure it's a good one. Well, thanks for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
for
much.
Matt
Thank you very
coming
much.
in.
I really appreciate you inviting me.
No worries. Thank you for signing Vita as well. That should be it for the podcast. We've got a sports section and the monthly news section as well coming out hopefully soon. Our entertainment and politics sections are so huge that we've had to dedicate a whole podcast to them each separately. So please do stay tuned for that. That will be a really, really good, fun one to listen to. So I believe that is it. So unless anyone else has anything to say, thank you very much to everyone.
That's fine. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully these podcasts will be out every month. But yeah, stay safe. I need to think of a good outro. I will get for the next podcast. That's a promise to all our listeners. I will get a good outro for the next one. But thanks everyone. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
See ya.
Thank you for joining us for the sports section of the podcast. You've just listened to Mat Sargent interview. I hope that was informative to say the least, if not funny. Hopefully it was funny. So now we're doing the sports, and I am with
Dave Watkins,
and
Sam Seeney,
what are you both doing at the university? Just a
journalism.
and I'm a business management student.
cool. In terms of sort of sports credentials, what sports are you interested in? Who do you support? Just so that listeners know who they're talking to and who they're criticising afterwards.
I'm mainly into football and I'm a Cardiff fan.
And there's a bit of overlap there. I'm a football fan and I'm an avid Arsenal FC fan.
Well, I'm a Chelsea fan, so there's a bit of rivalry there to say the least. Hopefully not
Animosity
too
in
much.
the room. lads.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we get on this fine. But sports. I guess football is the overarching sport of the country. So let's talk football. Let's talk Premier League. The Premier League returns this week after. We'll talk about England later. Let's leave that to one side for now. But the Premier League returns this week, and the big game out of all of them, Monday night, Liverpool versus Man U. Is it strange that it's on a Monday night, or do you think? What do you think?
I think it's a good thing because if you had it on a Saturday or a Sunday, it would get lost in the rest of the games. So having it as a separate game leaves it as a kind of blockbuster for the week.
Yeah, it is a blockbuster. I mean, they may not be there at the minute, but these are the two biggest clubs in English footballing history. They're the two most successful. They've got the most history, and it's always a fierce, intense atmosphere.
Hopefully, I mean, I've been criticising Pogba a lot recently because for that price tag, he should be scoring a hat trick every week. I mean, money is ridiculous right now in football, but Pogba hasn't had an amazing start. What do we expect from that money? What do you guys need? Predictions, plays to look out for in that game?
Coutinho is one for me to look out for,
Yeah.
and Firmino for Liverpool as
Yeah.
well. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be 2-1 Liverpool.
For me, it's completely dependent on which Liverpool side turns up.
Mm.
If it's the Liverpool side that did us 4-3 at the beginning of the season,
What game that was?
it was a fantastic game. But they were phenomenal. They were absolutely phenomenal. But the key player again in this match for me is Philippe Coutinho. If he's on fire, he's unplayable.
So are you going to brave with a prediction, or do you think just it literally depends on what Liverpool do?
It is dependent whether they're in the mood or not. But I
Yeah.
hope they are.
I was talking to Dave before we start recording, and I think that because if this is at Old Trafford, I think Liverpool could probably nick it because they're set up for an away games. But at home, I'm not so sure. I mean, they have been looking quite strong, but I reckon Mourinho, he loves the.
I watched them against Leicester
Yeah.
earlier in the season, and they looked absolutely amazing in that game.
That's great. I think Man U probably nick it maybe 2-1. So we'll see about that. Duncan has just been playing. I'm sorry, you probably won't hear this, but Duncan is playing our own sort of theme tune through our ears, and it's put us off a bit. I don't know. We'll soldier on. Sam is shouting expletives, but yeah. So in more locally football, Worcester City are playing. Honestly, I don't follow Worcester City a lot. Regrettably, I probably should because I live here. But they're playing at home against Stalybridge Celtic. What do you guys? Any opinion on that whatsoever?
All I know of Worcester is that they've drawn their previous game, which was against Boston United away, I think.
Yeah.
So they're not they might not necessarily be in the greatest form going into this game, but I think they should win this one.
Yeah.
Because from what I know, because one of my dad's friends is a Stalybridge Celtic fan, and
cool.
from what I know, Stalybridge tend to be at the bottom of the league for most seasons. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Duncan, what are you doing? Honestly, get out of here, you so and so. Bloody our chairman's running riot. But yeah. So that's Worcester City kind of cover. I really do hope they find a stadium at home because I think from Kidderminster and back is such a long journey. So I mean, we spoke to Adrian Gregson. This is not relevant to whatever, but I really do hope that they find a stadium. Managers. That's been a theme of this season, and it continues to be a theme. Aston Villa officially announcing, yesterday I believe, that Steve Bruce will be taking them hopefully to glory. So what they're going to think of. What do you guys think of Steve Bruce? Do you think he'll get them up?
I feel sorry for Aston Villa fans, I have to say, because at the minute that club is a bit of a poisoned chalice in terms of managerial appointments. They just don't give them enough time, enough scope, or enough backing to really put their own stamp on the team. I don't think the team's changed much for the last 3 seasons, really.
And I don't think the managers have enough time to sort of put their own style of play in, and then the players are getting confused as to what the different managers want because they're coming in so constantly.
Yeah. Go on.
Sorry, Roberto Di Matteo, he's not a proven manager, but he's not someone you'd turn your nose up at, especially in the Championship. I mean, on a tangent here, I find Rafa Benitez's performances recently with Newcastle to be utterly perplexing because he is someone who, previously was at Real Madrid. He managed Chelsea quite successfully. Obviously, he's synonymous with Liverpool. So they can't chop and change that quickly and that frequently and expect to get results.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, as a Chelsea fan, Di Matteo obviously did wonders for us, and I think that obviously he managed West Brom, don't forget, and he brought them up. So I think to get rid of him quite very quickly was, I mean, the owners at Villa are just having a nightmare, really. So I really hope for their sake that they put it together. Not for the many Birmingham fans that will be listening to us who are pretty loving it. I've got a mate, Reese, and Daz, who both are loving what's going on at the Villa. But from a neutral point of view, we want as many clubs competing as possible. So let's hope they sort it out. Dave, like you said, you're a Cardiff fan. Neil Warnock has graced your shores. What do you think about that?
Similar to Sam's point, I think that we are slowly becoming a poison chalice to manage because of our ownership. The way that Tan has dealt with the club in the last 3 years has been a disgrace. The way he came in and changed the heritage was quite angering for fans like myself.
Of course.
And I just think that hopefully the appointment of Warnock will bring a little bit of success to the club, bring the fans back, and hopefully we can be in the Prem in the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Definitely, yeah. Good luck with that. We'll try not to be so football-centric on this podcast, so we will try to mix up. We'll come back to England later on, even though I frankly don't want to talk about it, but we will come back to them. Tyson Fury. I know Sam raised it just before we started recording. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Well, it's a sad state of affairs, isn't it? This summer, I mean, sport has been tainted with this doping scandal that stretched from the Olympics and the Russian teams in the Olympics to boxing, and even you've got Maria Sharapova in the tennis who's been banned. But I think he had to either face the music for what he's done, or do what he chose to do, which is vacate the titles. But I don't see how he can make a return from that personally, because it's such a blot on your record that it's always going to be a question in future bouts.
I think, like you said, drugs and sport in general has been awful this summer. I know that the Russians were banned from the Paralympics, which surprisingly didn't get enough coverage. Obviously, during the Olympics, that's probably why, unfortunately. But that was a probably big deal, and that should have been, well, in my opinion, from the facts that we got, should have been carried across the Olympics, because there's a massive... I know John Oliver, a great guy who's doing well in America right now, did a whole piece on that, and it's crazy how the IOC are one of the biggest sports federations in the world, and they couldn't see this, or they couldn't do anything about it, which is just so annoying. So, and obviously Maria Sharapova doing her thing, like, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. Tennis also suffered a bit. I mean, not a lot, but there were some few questions. But
even cycling's coming now, and there's certain people who have been questioned about
Bradley
it.
Wiggins wasn't he?
I think on another tangent, I really did. Regardless of all that, cycling is probably one of the most fun sports to watch at the Olympics. Personally, I really loved watching the other velodrome. The Olympics in general are quite cool. Yeah.
You just got to admire their stamina, really, haven't you?
Definitely, yeah.
I dread that.
Crazy. Talking about stamina, like we were talking about tennis before. Andy Murray's chase for the number one sort of place in the world right now got better. He won the Shanghai Open. I'm not sure if he would have won it if Djokovic was there, but he's did what he had to do. So I'm sure you two people aren't very fit at tennis. I'm getting shaking of heads.
You can only play what's in front of you.
Yeah,
it's the same in football.
Yeah.
If a team doesn't turn up or a person doesn't turn up, then you can't really say, if a certain person wasn't there, I would have done worse.
It's a great shame for Murray, because in any previous generation, he probably would have been world number one at some point. Yeah. But he's come up against an absolute monster of a man in Novak Djokovic. So I think he's going to stay in his shadow for the time being.
I think Murray's done well this year. I think he's got to the final. He's got to the final of the French and Australian Opens, from what I can remember. He also got knocked out in the US Open quite early. He won Wimbledon, which is good. So hopefully, I think he's starting to get better. Djokovic's not fading, but there's certainly some forties there. So maybe we'll see a change of heart there. F1, I know a lot of people don't consider it, or don't really sort of have much sort of joy for it. I mean, I certainly do. I've always loved it, and well, obviously right now because Hamilton's losing. But do you guys have any thoughts about that? I know Sam follows it.
I don't really follow F1 at all.
You should get on that, Dave. You should definitely get on that.
It's fun. I mean, obviously it's a risky sport, but I just think there's something going on in terms of the Mercedes team, because it's the whole situation has flipped on its head with because it was first Rosberg, wasn't it?
Last year Rosberg was towards the end of the season. Last year Hamilton's getting all the luck and Rosberg's getting all the engine. In the last race, Rosberg finished sixth because of an engine fault. Which, I mean, Hamilton won the title by then, but it's just exemplified the bad luck Rosberg was having. But this year,
it kind of spoils it for me that they have these technical faults, because it should be purely based on the capability of the drivers and the skill of the drivers. But I guess somebody else would argue that's a necessary facet.
Yeah, that's the nature of the sport, really, because at the end of the day, yes, there's only so much we can do, but then if the cars break down, the cars break down. I mean, what's strange is how, I mean, Mercedes do supply most of the engines for most of the grid for those. I mean, I guess most people won't be F1 savvy, but for those who do know that, the Mercedes engines across the grid haven't failed hardly at all. But Hamilton, in his Mercedes, his own sort of home Mercedes, his engines failed so many times, and it's just strange how no one else has had this problem. So I think if anyone can do it, and if anyone can win the championship from this position with 4 races to go, 33 points behind, it can be Hampton. So we'll have to see. Let us know on Facebook and Twitter what you think about that, what you think about anything we've said so far. And hopefully we'll be able to raise it in the next podcast, or maybe people can join us. That'd be really cool to get more students involved. We'll end on England. I'm not sure I want to talk about them. Sam's not to me, Dave's smiling. But I mean, since the summer, so much has happened. Allardyce, Southgate, Rooney, formation, systems, players, etc., etc., etc. Let it go. Just vent.
It all comes back to the one word, doesn't it? The descriptive word of sport in the summer, which is corruption. Mm-hmm. We've had FIFA with Sepp Blatter. We've had what we've talked about with and UEFA with Michel Platini.
Oh, definitely.
We've had what we've just talked about with the Olympics and doping. And then you get Sam Allardyce, who I kind of liked Big Sam before that. So it was yeah.
As a Welsh fan, I'm not really fussed about how England are doing, but I just think that the media don't really help things with England, because when it comes to a major tournament, all they seem to say is that we can win this tournament, and then there needs to be a little bit of, and this isn't me being biased, but there needs to be a little bit of realism within the media about what are the squad actually capable of doing.
Completely agree with you. I mean, like, this is probably one of the stronger England signs we've had over the last 20 years or so. But even then, we're not on the same level as countries like Germany or France or Italy. We seem to overhype our talent to an extreme level.
Yeah, I think. Definitely. We say overhyped, but they're capable. I mean, Sterling's doing so well at Man City. Henderson scored an absolute wonder goal against my Chelsea. So I mean, they should believe in themselves because they are that good. They should be that good. If they're playing the Premier League week in week out. Yeah. And
I get your point, but I mean, the issue with them is they're not consistent.
Yeah. No.
They can do it, they prove that. You've just said they're capable of performing like that. But I mean, Sterling had a period where he was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, England's style of football is repetitive.
What is England's style of football?
It's the same every week. Like they just seem to, or every game, it's just sideways and backwards. It's quite boring to watch them. Actually, I don't mean to sound like I'm being biased here, but it's very boring to watch.
I think next time we do the podcast, we will talk about Wales much more depth because after the years they had, they've got a future to look forward to.
Yeah, they
unlike England. Quickly, Internet. Rooney in, out. What do we think?
Out.
I would have to say
out because he can't sustain a performance for as long as he could before, and he's just becoming a bit part player.
Mm-hmm. I think you've got to compare when he is in the team and when he isn't in the team. And from what I've seen recently, when he's not playing and he's more of an impact sub, the team does better. He isn't a striker anymore because he hasn't got the pace, and he's not a midfielder because he just doesn't have the experience of playing there. He's neither fish nor fowl.
Indeed. The England story gets worse and worse and worse from my point of view. But that is all the time we have for sport, unfortunately. It's such a big thing to get through. We may consider it doing our own podcast, really, but as opposed to a bunch of getting with news and stuff like that. But if you did enjoy that, please please let us know what you thought about on Facebook and Twitter. If we're wrong or not, have a go at us, whatever you want to do. Get involved. There are loads of sports across the University of Worcester right now: football, American football, tennis, rugby. So get involved if you are interested. If you go to the SU, if you're sitting on your, I was going to say not a rude word, but something probably not broadcastable. So if you're sitting on your bottom every Saturday night, not doing anything, get it down there, get involved. There's so many sports at these universities to get through. So, have a go at that. But thanks a lot for listening. Thanks a lot, David and Sam, for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah, definitely. And hopefully we'll see you next month for more England bashing, more Wales praising, hopefully, and hopefully better news from everywhere in the world. But thank you very much for listening.